Live from WSLS, this is 10 News at 6, working for you.
Right now on 10 News at 6, another step in the fight to end racism in Virginia.
It is sweet, sweet justice and satisfaction.
We dive into the bill that declares racism a public health crisis in the Commonwealth.
Plus, assistance could be on the way for frontline workers who have gotten sick from COVID-19. What still has to happen to get the aid to those who need it most?
Good evening and thanks for joining us for 10 News at 6. I'm Lindsay Ward.
And I'm John Carlin. Those stories in just a moment. But first, an investigation after a Lynchburg police officer shot and killed a dog while responding to a well-being check last night.
Now, the department says the officer aimed for the resident but missed and hit the dog instead. 10 News reporter Shane Dwyer is live at the Lynchburg Police Department tonight.
Shane, right now, state police are on this as well.
John and Lindsay, yes, Virginia State Police opening their own investigation into this officer-involved shooting. That is standard procedure for most police departments here in the Commonwealth when one of their officers does fire their weapon. Now, this all began last night, according to the Lynchburg Police Department, in the 100 block of Holcomb Path Road. They say police responded for a well-being check for a man who was holed up in the house with what they believed was multiple guns. Now, police arrived and determined that he did not appear to be armed, but he was still uncooperative. They tried to take him in for a mental health evaluation, but police say that he would not go. While police approached him at one point on a bed, they say the man did not follow their orders and instead moved his hand to a concealed location. That is when an officer fired their weapon, hitting and killing the dog that police say was laying on top of the man on the bed. Police eventually used a taser to get that man into custody. The department says there is body camera footage of the incident, but won't be releasing it due to the ongoing investigation. Now, as to the officer's identity that pulled the trigger on that gun that shot and killed the dog, the Lynchburg Police Department says that they will release that officer's name in the next 7 days. That, of course, is pending what they say is a threat assessment. Live in Lynchburg, Shane Dwyer, 10 News, working for you.
Turning now to your forecast, a week that started out with sunshine is ending with rain and snow for some. Meteorologist Delaney Warden joins us now.
Yeah, so Delaney, it's raining, but the raindrops almost look like snowflakes here, and some people within the sound of our voice are seeing snow.
Absolutely. We are seeing snow mostly west of the Parkway, but even areas in the Roanoke Valley and Central are also seeing that. Not only that, but some freezing precipitation, such as freezing rain and sleet. Also, we're getting reports of that mostly in areas such as the New River Valley, Highlands, back towards Central, and of course, even the Roanoke Valley. So we do have a busy evening ahead of us. Some of the rain is starting to move out of the New River Valley, and eventually you'll get a little bit of a break before yet another round moves in. In fact, you just take a look at what we're expecting over the next several hours, and this rain, this system is just really not going to be letting up very much heading into tomorrow morning. This is a live look from our sky cam over in Blacksburg, one of the many areas that has been seeing snow on and off over the past few hours, and we are not done with it just yet. We're holding on to that freezing precipitation heading into the evening hours. 35 in Roanoke, 33 currently in Blacksburg, just cold enough to see some of that wintry precipitation. I'll have more details on how long that sticks around and a look at the rain chances for this weekend here in a few minutes. John.
Right on the bubble. Thank you, Delaney. All that's left now to require school districts an in-person option is the governor's signature. Lawmakers agreed on a bill with that mandate. 10 News reporter Tim Harfman talks with local parents and the Lynchburg Teachers Union about how that will impact your kids and teachers.
The Virginia Senate voted 36-3 Thursday, approving legislation that requires schools to provide full-time, in-person instruction as the pandemic continues. The bill also passed the House Wednesday, and if signed, it would take effect July 1st. President of the Lynchburg Education Association, Carl Luce, doesn't see this as legislators throwing the gauntlet down towards educators, but rather working together.
So it's not just throwing the doors open and bringing everybody back in with no regard to anyone's safety or any conditions.
The bill includes exceptions, such as reverting to virtual learning if a school has high levels of coronavirus transmission. Andrew Glover founded the Conservative Parents of Lynchburg, a group that has supported the idea of full-time in-person instruction.
I am super happy that the legislature has finally acknowledged what parents have been saying for literally months, that our kids need to be back in school and that face-to-face learning is going to be the most effective way for most parents.
But Glover says it's vital to not wait to get children back into classrooms.
It means it's a pressing and urgent matter, and we need to be effecting this now, not in July.
Luce argues there's still a way to go with vaccinating staff.
We need the extra time to get vaccinations offered to any school employee who wants them. We need the opportunity to plan for getting more students back in the building and what that would look like.
In Lynchburg, Tim Harfman, 10 News, working for you.
Federal investigators arrest another local man for his alleged role in last month's U.S. Capitol riots. Jeremy Grosclose faces 4 federal charges. The FBI raided his Elliston home yesterday afternoon. In court documents, investigators say 2 online tips, alleged social media posts, these pictures, and security footage from the Capitol on the day of the riot led investigators to Grosclose. They say Grosclose and others obstructed Capitol Police as officers tried to secure one area of the building, and Grosclose remained inside the Capitol building for more than 2 hours after that. This year's Virginia Teacher of the Year is from right here in our area. What he says inspires him to keep working to educate even during the pandemic.
Know your zone. Get a tailored forecast specific to where you are. Your local weather authority, alerting you to the next weather maker moving into your zone, making it easier for you to plan ahead. Know your zone, only from WSLS 10.
10 News continues to work for you, sharing stories of notable Virginians during Black History Month. Anthony Swan never imagined he would win Virginia Teacher of the Year and now serve on the State Board of Education. The 5th grade Rocky Mount teacher is inspiring the next generation. Swan is a champion for kids being in the classroom. Once face-to-face with homelessness and lost in the foster care system, education saved his life.
I love sharing my story too, because I know there are a lot of students who are in the same shoes that I was in. But I want them to know that no matter what, and no matter how bleak it may look, if you keep going, things will get better.
How he shows students education can change and save their lives just like it did for him, tonight on 10 News at 7.
Racism declared a public health emergency here in the Commonwealth. We speak to the author of the bill and why she says this approach is vital to reaching equity in Virginia. After last year's summer of unrest and protests, Governor Ralph Northam promised to fight against racism here in the Commonwealth.
And now a new bill is doing just that. 10 News reporter McKinley Strother breaks down how racism will now be considered a public health crisis.
We have finally declared here in the Commonwealth that racism is a public health crisis.
With bipartisan support, the General Assembly has finally made it happen.
It's past time that it be recognized as a health crisis in the Black community.
For many, COVID-19 has been the worst health crisis in a generation, but that same crisis has shed light on another emergency, one ignored for centuries: racism. The state NAACP chapter saying that systemic racism manifests itself as a determinant to public health through persistent racial disparities in all areas of our lives.
It's not the same type of racism associated with the actions of an individual.
Here's Delegate LaSharice Aird, the pioneer of this resolution.
We're talking more about systemic racism, and that is the barriers and challenges, specifically through the lenses of race, that impact all of our systems.
She says that would be things like education, healthcare, housing, the environment, and so much more.
As we know, in order to really address a problem, you have to first admit that there is a problem. And that is what this resolution does.
Treating racism as a public health crisis isn't a new idea.
It is sweet, sweet justice and satisfaction.
Delegate Aird says now the real work begins. It is the state's job to re-examine our approaches to legislation, budget, and so much more through a more equitable lens for all. It also opens the door for more medical focus on the matter. I'm McKinley Strother, 10 News, working for you.
Well, the snow is coming down right now in parts of our area. We want to give you a live look. This is along mile marker 55 on I-64 in Lexington. You can see the snow is coming down there. The roads are clear, but you can see the ground beside is seeing a little coverage. In case you're wondering, roads look similar in Allegheny and in parts of Botetourt County as well.
Your local weather authority, always watching and tracking for you from the JES Weather Center.
And that absolutely gives you a view of what some of us are seeing versus others. We take a live look to our sky cam overlooking downtown Roanoke, and we have not been seeing any snow coverage, at least on this sky cam. I know that some areas, especially like Vinton, even back towards Salem, you've been picking up on some snow. It likely will not stick for long, but our temperatures are going to be slowly dropping here over the next few hours, and we will be watching that here very closely. Snow totals so far, though, we've already received less than an inch for most areas, but we're right at an inch in Rupert over in Greenbrier County. It would not surprise me if the Highlands see more than 1 inch, though. Daleville, you are up to 0.8 of an inch, half an inch over in Blacksburg, and 1/10 of an inch over in Boonesboro. So over the next few hours, as this moves out, we're still going to see some more accumulation, but it is going to start to slow down here in the next hour or so. But just take a look at those darker purples. They are dropping some heavy snow for some of us, whereas others were not even seeing that reaching the ground. It's either transitioning over to just rain or maybe even some of that freezing precipitation. Here in the next few hours, notice even areas back towards the NRV are finally getting a little bit of a break. That will be us here heading into later this evening, but visibility also very low for those who are also picking up on some of that snow. Lexington, yours is down to about 3 miles. At its lowest over in Hot Springs. Here in Roanoke, we are sitting at 6 miles for our visibility. 7 p.m. holding on to the snow, holding on to a lot of rain back towards south side, and then by midnight we're getting some relief. Some of us will not be seeing that rain, and I know that's going to be a little bit of a relief. However, we have another round that's going to be moving through overnight. If you're heading out the door early in the morning, you're going to want to keep that umbrella with you. In fact, keep it around throughout the day, because while the rain won't be as widespread, there's still going to be some isolated showers out there. You could see that one stray shower that's on the radar, and of course you'll want to keep that umbrella handy if that's the case. Heading into Sunday, I do think that this particular system will be further towards the south than what Future Tracker is showing. We're going to pick up on another round of rain that's going to be very similar to what we see on Saturday morning, and another round heading into Sunday evening. Our winter weather advisory does not expire, I should say, until tomorrow morning. This is for areas west of the Parkway, and our rainfall totals, we are looking at quite a bit, because that rain is sticking with us through about lunchtime or so on Monday. Just look at those higher totals towards the Highlands, whereas you head further towards the southeast, we're seeing some lower totals, maybe upwards of an inch. Definitely make sure you're watching out for some flooding on the roadways. That will be absolutely possible over the next few days. Tonight, our temperatures won't be changing very much into the 30s by tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow afternoon, believe it or not, we are running even warmer than we were today, back to the 60s, and you may like Sunday too. 72 for a high. We're going to be staying out of the 40s over the next several days, but unfortunately we will be watching Wednesday for yet another winter mix. Guys.
Did you say 70s on Sunday?
That's correct.
Amazing.
Yeah. In fact, we may need to bring that up too. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but we are warming up quickly.
That's called a tease in the TV world. We're going to stay tuned to see what Delaney
All right, but don't backslide on it. If you go up, you can't go down.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Delaney.
Appy?
All right, we'll hear from the Hokies as they attempt to get back on the winning track this weekend. And more First and 10 high school football tonight. We'll hear from both coaches before tonight's Black and Blue Bowl next in sports.
WSLS 10 News, the proud winner of the 2020 Emmy Award for Best Newscast.
It's a tremendous football game. I mean, anybody that you play in the Seminole is going to be a great football game. Anybody. I mean, I just told someone today, the coaches can coach and the players can play in this district, bottom line.
Coached against them when I was at Brookville High School, and same here at EC Glass, coached against them, and it's that old school Bob Christmas. And Bob isn't there anymore, so you don't want to give Bob the credit, but they're still running that downhill wishbone. And we got to be good inside the trenches, inside the hashes. And if we can't maintain the box, then we're going to struggle.
All right, some strong words. A couple of Seminole District powers ready for a collision and a decision tonight. JF hosting EC Glass. The Black and Blue Bowl has gone the Hilltoppers' way the past 4 seasons. And for the 4th time in 5 days, I'm going to say this. Highlights and postgame tonight at 11 on 10 Sports. We'll see if we can just keep doing that. Limited schedule tonight. We might have some sleet and snow video, maybe some snow football field angels coming our way as these games are underway or getting underway. And as you know, we've got some snow in the area. And Emory and Henry at Ferrum Little College ODAC special for you tonight. Friday night football as well. When last we saw Lord Botetourt High School, they were battling a Hopewell in the Class 3 state title game at Liberty University. Coach Jamie Harless's perennial Power Cavaliers finished as state runner-up at 14-1. They're set to open this spring football season by welcoming a Class 4 Southside Power in GW Danville on Saturday. It's not a traditional opponent, but Coach Harless says he was happy to get the matchup.
Great football program, great tradition. Just neat having them being able to come to Daleville and play. Their coach reached out to us in the preseason when we were looking for a game and asked if we were interested, and it was a great opportunity, and we wanted to do it. There's gonna be some things that we're going to be doing a little bit differently. You know, we evaluated some things in the off season. We're trying to add some more things to what we do offensively. So you could see some different things, weather permitting, but we'll see. I'm excited. I can't wait. I feel like a little kid before Christmas.
Oh, it's about time to play ball for them. When last we saw GW Danville, they were falling in the Class 4 region semifinals to Salem. That was a 48-21 game, which feels like a million years ago, but that was fall. It was November of 2019. News and notes before we wrap things up. But Campbell leading the Radford women as we speak, 40-27. That game is in the 3rd quarter. Kevin Durant is out until after the All-Star break, nursing a couple of leg injuries, including, I think, a hamstring. And we have more college football tomorrow. Furman is scheduled to play VMI 1:30 tomorrow afternoon. ODAC spring football, division what we used to call 1AA spring football. It's all happening along with high school football, which, is every night now.
It's like every sports season all together.
All at once. And pick what you like
Whatever
and enjoy
you want.
it. There you go.
And then add in the snow.
There you go. In the snow.
In the snow.
Thanks, App.
NBC Night, the news coming up next.
We'll see you back here at 7.